Is pretty privilege really a real thing? That is the topic for discussion today. Not only that, I'm going to give you the three levels to pretty privilege by the end of this video. So let's get into the clips.
I love being pretty. I don't care. 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 Y'all can hate me. Listen, I love it. I get a free Starbucks every single week. Every single time I go to the Starbucks in my area, the guy, he just hands it to me and be like, it's on me today. It's on me today. It's on me today. Guess what? On him. On him. And I like it. I'm sorry. Like, it just blows my mind because what? Like, you're just giving it to me for free? Like, risking your job? Or maybe he's paying. Like, I don't know what's going on, but all I know is I like it. I like it.
Baby, you know damn well that man is not paying for that. He giving you that on the company's dime. Really willing to risk his job just to give you a free donut and something to drink. But this brings me into the levels of pretty privilege. I'm gonna break them down for you. Got it written down here. So it's three levels. We're gonna start off with level one. This is like your slightly above average female here. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, this is about maybe a six, definitely a six, maybe possibly a seven. Maybe with a little bit of makeup, a little bit of effort. She knows how to style herself properly. She can bump up to a seven. So that's level number one. With level number one of pretty privilege, you qualify for things like we heard the clip, free drinks, donuts, things of that nature. Small items, nothing too crazy. Um, maybe get better customer service, things along those lines. Then you have level two. Level two, these are the women that are about eights on the scale of 1 to 10. Um, Again, in real life, these are the women that look better than probably about 90% of women out there. Again, they're usually the most beautiful in the room. At level two of pretty privilege, this is where you could kind of have the potential to make a lifestyle out of it. This is the you qualify for sugar daddies, um, dudes tricking. At this level two pretty privilege, those are some of the things, and obviously you get all the benefits and perks of level one. Level three pretty privilege. I mean, this is very rare. I mean, usually these are women that are like nines and tens. Usually these women, you rarely see them in real life. Usually it's going to be on social media, on the television. Again, these women make 100% of their lifestyle solely off their looks. And again, I want to mention for level two, you also have a love-hate type response with level two pretty privilege. Either you have people who really adore you by the way you look, or you have people who are jealous and envy of you because of your looks. So that's the three levels. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Privilege is a real thing. And if you don't think so, it's because, yeah.
If you don't think so, it's probably because you don't qualify.
Privilege is real. It's why more conventionally attractive people get shorter jail sentences. It's why they're more likely to be hired. It's why people are more likely to help them if they need assistance on the side of the road. Pretty privilege is a real thing, and it has nothing to do with why you're being harassed at a gas station or catcalled walking down the side of the street. That's called the patriarchy. That's called misogyny. And all people who look even a droplet feminine are likely to experience it. It has nothing to do with how attractive you might be. Lately, I've seen this string of attractive people, mostly skinny and light-skinned or white, talking about how pretty privilege can't possibly be real because they're always being harassed when they're out and about in the world. And that's just not the case. People who are not conventionally attractive are still being harassed. They're still experiencing harm. And in fact, they are more likely to experience harassment and harm because they are deemed as unattractive, so they are viewed as easy targets. And in fact, this rhetoric of, well, I'm attractive and that's why I'm bothered. Aren't you lucky because you're unattractive so you're safe? It's just repackaging the same misogyny that's going to get us all hurt in the end, but especially the people that we are constantly dogging on. So this is your reminder. Pretty privilege is real, and the harm that you're experiencing is not because you're pretty, it's because of the patriarchy. You've got beef with the wrong person. Your fellow sisters are not your enemy. Stop peddling their rhetoric. It's hurting us all.
Again, pretty privilege is definitely a very real thing, and it is based off the way you look. It's that's the long and short of it.
Here's some signs, all right? Clear, tall tale signs that you actually have pretty privilege. Based on my last video, a lot of women were, kind of like, some of them vexed, not sure if they fall under the category of having pretty privilege. Let me tell you, I dated a girl, pretty girl, all right? She had gotten pretty privilege pretty much all her life, all right? I saw it firsthand. Why we not together no more, it's irrelevant. But here's some signs. Number one, people will hold the door for you. Random people, they gonna go out their way to open the door for you, no matter what. Number two, it may be raining outside, right? It may be raining outside and you'll have a complete stranger give you their own umbrella. And they don't even mind getting soaked because they want to make sure that you good. That's pretty privileged. Number three, it may be a long line anywhere. You could be at the bank. You could be at the grocery store line. You could be trying to get in the club. Like somebody gonna give up their space in line for you. I say 90% of the time, over 90% of the time. That's gonna happen. Number four, you get stuff for free. And nobody's gonna take no for an answer either. They ain't gonna take no for an answer. If you say no, please don't. Like, they're not gonna take no for an answer. You set for life.
Again, he brought up a really good point at the end that I forgot to mention with the 3 levels. Level 2, pretty privileged. The difference between level 1 and level 2, you were offered things at level 2. Like he said, people wanted to give you things. They're not taking no for an answer. As versus level 1, you may get some things for free sometimes, but you may have to flirt, you might have to finesse it a little bit. But level 2, you're offered things all the time. And like I said, people will not take no for an answer.
I think I just experienced my first thing of pretty privilege because I got this entire bagel for free. Tell me why as soon as I walked into this bagel shop, they complimented my outfit. They said I looked really cute today. And then when I went up to check out, they were like, you can just have this for free. And I was like, oh, what? I literally pulled out my card. I was like, oh, here. And they're like, no, you're good. Is this what it means to have pretty privilege? I have never experienced this before. I mean, maybe I did technically pay in my face card, but this is crazy. I can't believe pretty privilege is like a real thing that people get to experience on a daily basis, because if I got to experience this on a daily basis, that would be really nice.
She said, I guess I paid with my face card.
I don't care what anybody say. Pretty privilege is real. No, yes, guys always saying, hey, you look good, you look so beautiful, da 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 da. But today, I experienced pretty privilege to the max. I was picking up some stuff. Excuse me, it's not your time. I was picking up some stuff today, and sometimes you go to them little pharmacies or whatever, it'd be mad expensive compared to if you go to Walmart. So my checkout money was $80-something for barely nothing. It was like 4 items, $80-something. So the person ringing me up, the guy's like, I mean, if you got it at Target, it would be so much cheaper. I don't think you should get it. So I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I really need these type of stuff. And I'm like, actually forget it. Only way I'm getting it is if I get your discount. Why the man only going to ring up like 2 items and I'm at the store paying $20?
So she used to finessing the pretty privilege. She said, I'm only going to get it if I use your discount. So this is a play she run all the time.
What? $20 compared to 80? In what world? And I'm guaranteeing you, if I was looking busted and crusted, he would not have done that. And he wasn't even interested in talking to me. He didn't ask for my number. It's just the fact that when you present yourself a certain way, people are gonna favor you, and it's not right, but it's the world we live in. So listen, if you got some type of privilege, child, you better take advantage of it. Cause right now, see if my cell phone look $60. Can't see if that's right now, cause I'm rough and I'm hard.
She said the beauty was the currency.
I've seen this topic a lot on TikTok, so I just want to talk about it a little bit. It's about how people with pretty privilege kind of victimize themselves and make it seem like it's the worst thing in the world. And I know it's been talked about on TikTok a lot, like they say it's just misogyny, it's not because of pretty privilege, and just how like women are treated like that in general. So I just wanted to share my thoughts on it as far as like where I stand on that. So I have a question to all the people that are conventionally attractive. If you could choose what you could be born as, would you be ugly or would you be attractive? And ugly as in not conventionally attractive or meeting the standards. I'm not saying like literally. Because I'm pretty sure 90% of the time people would choose to be attractive in a heartbeat. It's no questions asked. No way you're going to come out of the womb and be like, yeah, I want to be unattractive so I can be left alone. Because either way, as a woman, you're treated like shit when you're ugly. When I was like dead ugly, like worse than this, I was literally getting bullied, especially in school. It was terrible. And all the popular girls that were attractive, just like they were living good lives. I had to basically make it up for my personality and my kind, caring soul. So it was just like, I have to be kind in order to prove something to you, but people with the bat of an eye can just look attractive and get whatever they want. We all want what we can't have, right? But when it comes to having a privilege, it's completely different because when you have pretty privilege, it's literally a privilege. You know what I mean? And if your answer to that question is you'd rather be ugly, then you have no idea what it's like. Because literally, like, you're not left alone when you're ugly. If anything, you're made fun of in private. You're not approached. People think the worst things about you, or they treat you differently just because of your like appearance. But honestly, if it were my choice, I'd very much rather have someone be jealous of me than someone literally make fun of something I can't change, you know? I'd rather somebody be insecure about themselves because of me rather than me being insecure because of someone else. If that makes sense.
Again, any woman who tries to complain about having pretty privilege, just know she's trying to play you with a Jedi mind trick.
We are back with another episode of Nina's Hot Takes. I filmed some hot takes before, but these I need to upload first before I do the draft ones. So you guys know all about pretty privilege and how good things happen to you and you might get extra attention, perks, life is just easier, yada, yada, yada. Pretty privilege. Hot take. There's also ugly privilege and pretty curse, okay? Because when you are pretty, you're way more likely to get harassed. People get offended easily. People think you're gonna be stuck up, so then you have to overly prove yourself. And I say this all the time. If you've been beautiful your whole life, you're most likely gonna be goofy or quirky to offset the fact that most people think that you are stuck up. And then we have ugly privilege. So ugly privilege is when people leave you alone and don't bother you and have very low expectations, which is great because sometimes when I go out the house and I look busted, I like the ugly privilege of not being paid attention to or harassed or asked for my number or, you know, just the expectation that comes along with who you may or may not be like if you're pretty. Y'all let me know in the comments. Ugly privilege, pretty curse, are they real?
Let me tell you something. This woman is absolutely capped right now. She's not being honest. She's not being transparent. She know damn well if she had there's no such thing as ugly privilege. So let's just get that out the way right now. And if she had to be what was deemed ugly, she would be absolutely sick. What she's really referring to is she likes the fact that sometimes, you know, maybe when she dials down a little bit, she doesn't always want the spotlight and attention on her, you know, 99% of the time. You know, she wants to dial it back to maybe 90%. Again, now I will say this. It is one kind to pretty privilege, and I will say this. As a woman, if you're attractive, um, in the terms of relationship, that means you're going to have men, you're going to have all types of men try to talk to you. Good men that have good intentions for you, and then you're gonna have men who don't have any have bad intentions for you and want to ruin your life. So that is the one downside I would say of pretty privilege. You have to be very mindful. You have to have a high level of discernment, and you know, hopefully you have a good father figure around you, especially when you're young, because that pretty privilege can turn into a curse if you get with the wrong gentleman.
Is pretty privilege real? It is, and let's talk about it according to my college presentation. So to start today's class, what is pretty privilege? Pretty privilege is based on the fact that men and women are offered various opportunities and upper hands in life based on the way that they look and various societal beauty standards. The fingerprints. But let's talk Netflix and Joe's character and you and how his good looks kind of hides the fact that stalking is, a bad thing. I'm just going to read this. So, according to Harper's Bazaar, quote, Netflix has put a handsome face on Yu's antagonist, but there's nothing sexy or fun about a real life stalker. Remember where I talked about Megan Good in my previous video about pretty privilege and how it affected her receiving different types of roles? Let's talk about it further. Megan Good, her beauty has definitely affected the way she was perceived and the roles that she would get early on in her career. I need to clean my laptop. So Megan says in an interview, through my 20s, I kind of played a lot of the pretty girl love interest or the quote unquote sexy girl, whatever. Then, at a certain point, I was like, hi guys, I can do so much more than that. And the attitude was like, no, just be pretty. Megan continues on to say, it's like, if I just shut this down a certain kind of way, then don't want to work with you, or they want to say that you're this, you're that. And so then you're kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, I just told you that, went over my head. So pretty much she's saying, of course, that her pretty privilege definitely affected her in Hollywood. But she also went on to say that if she spoke up about her opinion, people perceived her to be kind of a mean girl. And then also in my presentation, I go on to talk about Jeremy Meeks, the male model who went viral off of his mugshot, which landed him various modeling contracts and acting gigs. I don't want this video to be too long, but I also talk about in the presentation how there was TikTokers who, quote, the bragging beauty claims that she scored drinks, Uber rides, surf lessons, and $500 tickets to Lollapalooza. And, quote, this TikToker had gifts given to her and people didn't want anything in return based on how the way she looked. And according to Forbes, physically attractive people are more likely to be interviewed for jobs and hired more because I guess because they're beautiful. A little quick note before we leave this TED Talk, I want to say that just because you're pretty doesn't mean that you should get offered every single job, every single modeling contract. It doesn't. I believe you still have to work hard on top of someone's good looks. But on the other hand, pretty privilege does play a part in everybody's daily life. So yeah, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I wanted to clean my laptop.
She did a whole presentation. But again, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you believe pretty privilege is a real thing? And let me know what you think about the 3 levels I described early on in the clip when it comes to pretty privilege. I look forward to seeing your comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.